Yeah.
We'll keep it very real up in here. We don't have to worry about, you can feel me. I'm you guys, so you can talk here. I realized at an early age the importance of education, and I think everybody that's here that has brought you guys here and that has allowed me to come to speak to you guys, education is such a powerful tool, such a needed tool, such the tool to get beyond, to advance yourself. You look at your parents or where they came from, and I'm from the struggle, so I know, you know, maybe mom and dad didn't have the education that you guys are maybe fortunate to have. I highly encourage you guys to take advantage of that because it's real out here in the streets. And it's actually, the streets is not just inner city Inglewood where I'm from, but it's also the streets, it's Wall Street. Most importantly, that's the biggest street, Wall Street. Our company, did you want to say something? Sure.
You can jump in anytime you want.
Yeah, you want to jump in.
Just jump right in. It's informal.
It's informal now. You want to add? Our company started out of the need, and hopefully this message that I'm going to give you guys will inspire you guys to do whatever it is that you choose to do in life. But for me, Urban World Wireless, even when you look at the name Urban World Wireless, I got into the space right after college, before the wireless carriers like the T-Mobiles, Verizon, Nextel, and all those guys got into hip-hop. In 2000, there was about rock music, country, and everything else, and it had nothing to do with me. But I was into the hip-hop thing. I had just came from working for Rap Page magazine under Larry Flint, and saw the need that we live in an age of the digital divide. Are you guys familiar with the term digital divide?
No.
I encourage you guys, please write that down. Because I look at every one of you guys and you have to know what that word is. You guys are a product of the word, the digital divide. It's the reason why you're here today. So I definitely want you guys to look that up. And tomorrow, when's the next time you meet with the group?
We're going to meet with the group. I'll meet with them again on Tuesday.
Tuesday, I want you guys to be able to look that word up and provide a definition of that from your research. Orally, I'll let you guys know that the digital divide basically is a division between the haves and have-nots. Those who have access to the information highway and those who don't have access to the information highway. And this is very important. Everybody has worked on a computer, has worked with a computer, right? Yeah. That's have that capabilities to buy that computer. And that computer allows you to learn. That computer keeps you informed with everything that's going on, not just in Phoenix, but the U.S., let alone the world. So those kids in Scottsdale would be one up on you guys, let alone 5 steps above you, because they have access to what's going on in the world. Therefore, they are learning. While you who do not have access to the computer due to some economic reason are lost in the storm, like the generations before you and the generations before them. So what I did was basically realize that to pay for a computer, the computer in 2000 had to have been about a good close to what, $2,000 for
yes.
a computer. Keeping it real, a computer was costing about $2,000. I don't know if your parents could afford that, but the ones in Scottsdale had it. The ones in Manhattan Beach, California had it, let alone any other part of the U.S. They had that. They had access to the information highway, and that's very key. This is a part of the digital divide. Motorola had invented a device called the two-way pager. You guys familiar with that?
Yeah.
You've heard that Jay-Z talk about and other rappers talk about the device. Well, that device actually, at the end of the day, is a computer. And that device that Motorola sold to the streets or to consumers, they sold it at $400 versus the $2,000 for the computer. So for inner city kids such as myself, such as those who claim inner city like me, and be proud of it, that was a device that became easy to obtain. That was more obtainable than a $2,000 computer. Therefore, now all of a sudden I'm from the hood and I got an email address, something unheard of. while the ones in Scottsdale, they already came up having an email address, allowing their friends to send information to them. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Does that really make sense to you guys? So the kids from Scottsdale, when we talk about the digital divide, and we talk about the haves and the have-nots, well, at age 13, they already have johndoe@hotmail.com, while a homeboy from inner city is stuck with no email address. He doesn't even know how to work the computer, let alone to have an email address. And that email address is so important because that's your access to information. Bottom line, it is your point of access to information. And the two-way pager, being that it was sold at a cost that was more feasible for the youth to purchase, became a hub for inner city kids across the country to now have an email address. Now, instead of having to call you, I can actually text message or say, we've been in this scenario, I could be in a classroom, and now homie is giving me the answer via the cell phone, via the two-way pager. So that's what I mean by the digital divide, having a device or something that gives you an access point to information. And you'll learn that as time goes on, that's a very important thing that you need to have. You have to stay informed. And it's so critical. If you're not informed, it's not even a point in living. That's how real it is out here. If you are not informed of what's going on in the world of business, then it's not even a point in living. And you heard it straight from the horse's mouth. With the two-way pager came the proliferation, and by proliferation I mean the advancement of other devices to come. And that led way to this device by T-Mobile called the Sidekick. And I'm sure you guys have seen Snoop Dogg in the commercial promote this device. Have everybody seen this one?
Yeah.
Does anybody have one of these?
No.
Not yet.
$200 right now. $200. This is your laptop. This is now officially the laptop. Everything that the laptop or the computer can do, this does that. And Urban World was able to now stream news content that was relevant to a 17 to 35-year-old market that was hip-hop related, and we use hip-hop to educate the masses. So that's to say, when Russell Simmons did a boycott in New York City for school, the New York City school district, because at the end of the day, the city decided to deduct money and reserve funding in school. Well, ultimately, the people that were affected would look just like you guys. But that's hip-hop news that we must disseminate to the masses. Once again, here's another situation that affects another inner city, some 2,000 miles away from here. Well, that's hip-hop, that's relevant news, and you guys need to take that news and see how it relates to your own community. Other examples, Newport cigarettes, and how they targeted these devices, or targeted this cigarette to inner city kids who look just like you guys. Newport was around before our parents, or around the time of our parents, but man, it's caught on like a phenomenal that it was targeted to you guys. Malt liquor. How many people know, seen a 40 ounce? Targeted to you guys. You are the product of the 40 ounce. And now for the kids that are underneath you, St. Ides and others have invented other drinks that look like a 40 ounce, but borderline a fruit juice, just to get the next generation involved in the same thing that their elders are. This is what I mean by the digital divide, having access to information. Because if you don't have information, you will be used and abused and pimped and raped every time with new propagandas that are put before you. Without that information, you will not have access to think. You don't know how to think. You're just programmed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What I'm saying makes sense? Everybody with me?
Yeah.
So what we did was stream news content that was, again, relevant to this demographic, 17 to 35, that, you know, we don't like to be preached to, right? Don't we get bored with that? You hearing your mom lecture, it's like, the hell do I want to hear this for? Keep it real. Hip hop, we were able to explain things how I'm talking to you. I'm going to keep it gully, keep it streets with you to make the point, and then bring it back to what your parents said, because they only had your best interests at heart in the first place. This device that we've come off with in conjunction with T-Mobile allows for news to be sent, downloadable games that are all relevant, and one of the big things that we've created, and I want to show you guys a DVD, is the making of ringtones.